Max.
Yeah.
How should they handle their quarterback situation?
Shouldn't be week 5. Like, I'll leave the arguments why it should be to you. There are compelling arguments to be made, but I think they are ultimately beaten by this big point. The Giants' offensive line has been among the worst in the NFL over the last several years. Now, they've made improvements to the line. Zeitler in particular. Like Will Hernandez in his second season, I thought he was a beast in college. I think he's going to be very good. And signed Patriots left tackle who has not been so good, Nate Solder. But okay, at least he's better than what they had because Eric Flowers is one of the biggest draft busts of all time. Zeitler is a really, really good pass blocking guard. And that was part of the Odell trade. That was like maybe the best part for them, actually. But even so, offensive lines, and you can talk about this, it's not like you just have talent and then it all works. They need time to come together. And I remember when they drafted Eli, number one, well, they drafted Phillip Rivers and traded for Eli, so they traded Nate Kading, and I think the pick that wound up to be Sean Merriman, if memory serves from that trade, for the number 1 pick in Eli Manning. They had Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner. MVP of the league, all-time great Kurt Warner, who, by the way, went on to show you in Arizona he still had plenty of football left. And they used Kurt Warner as a tackling dummy behind their offensive line so that Eli wouldn't have to take those licks as he was learning. And that's how the Giants should proceed here. Yes, Daniel Jones looked spectacular against the twos in the preseason, but he looked excellent, excellent. So far, I've been wrong about it so far. Like, we'll see what happens, but I'm very encouraged as a Giants fan. But until that line comes together, Eli Manning should be the quarterback. The old man's getting paid. He's had the job for too long anyway. The best value he can bring, other than, as Daniel Jones is holding the clipboard, see how to go about your business as a pro. Eli's clutch. The locker room likes him, at least the personality, all that kind of stuff. He can give him that, but he can also take the hits as the O-line is coming together so Daniel Jones doesn't have to. Look what just happened to Andrew Luck, right? Let Eli take those shots.
Well, listen, I think the 5 games that's a little bit that's ambitious to me when I look at the New York Giants. Number one, you wouldn't start Daniel Jones right off the top because Eli's making like $23 million. You're not going to just sit there and have a backup quarterback for $23 million against your cap. That doesn't make any sense. I think the game plan is going to be it's really going to be this simple. It's going to be, as long as the Giants are playing meaningful games, meaning that they're still in the hunt or not mathematically eliminated, then you're going to see Eli Manning still playing football. The question is about the New York Giants, their defense. You talked about the offensive line, and it's going to take time for this offensive line to gel. There's no question about it. Everyone knows about Saquon Barkley, who they're going to run Saquon Barkley into the ground, basically, because he's really their one legitimate threat. But when you look on the other side of the ball, that's where the real issues are for the New York Giants, is their defense. Who's going to rush the passer? Who's going to get after it?
That was part of the deal with Odell. They lost the pass rusher.
Listen, last time I checked, you got to play defense in the National Football League. And when you look at the Giants, they won't be able to stop anyone. And it's going to lead the Giants in a situation where they're going to be in shootouts for a lot of games. And that's going to leave Eli Manning exposed. And I think at some point during the season, probably around Thanksgiving in November, that's when we could possibly see the switch to Daniel Jones, because once the season is gone awry and the Giants are basically eliminated.
What's your overall?
You have to. I'll say about week 10. I'll say about week 10.
Okay, we're on the same page there. I think like the realistic over-under should be week 6, given how poorly Eli's played in recent years, particularly without Odell Beckham Jr. on the field. He has not been a starting caliber quarterback. With Odell, he's been barely a starting caliber quarterback. Now there's no Odell, right? I would say week 6 would be fair, but given the Giants' conservative nature, I would push it back to week 10. That would be my prediction. Because while the quarterback's on the rookie deal, as you mentioned earlier in the show, you'd like him to get some experience because the clock is ticking anyway.
Right.
So get him some games under his belt. I'll guess week 10.
Max, what are the things you would be looking at in Eli for you to be making that decision of, is he still a starting caliber quarterback?
Hasn't been for This was going on 3 years where he literally has not been starting caliber. I understand with Odell on the field, he's looked at times like a bad starting quarterback, like a bottom-tier starting quarterback. But that's only with a uniquely gifted wideout on the field. When you take Odell off the field, he's been completely lost. Even Saquon Barkley, when he's not essentially getting sacked, because if you're tackled behind the line of scrimmage, that's a sack, brother. But even when that's not happening, he can't throw the ball to Saquon 5 yards accurately on his steps. Saquon's got to come back for the ball, reach for the ball. The defense is on him. And then it's only because it's Saquon Barkley he can sometimes make a play. No, Eli has been terrible for 3. By the way, Eli Manning, if I'm ever in a bar, I see Eli Manning, he's not paying for a drink. He won my Giants 2 Super Bowls with some of the most clutch plays ever. I love him to death. But his death as an NFL quarterback happened like 3 years ago, and someone forgot to tell him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what was one of the complaints that Odell Beckham Jr. had about Eli? Can't give him the ball. You know, in the National Football League, you can't dinky dunking your way to winning a lot of football games. You got to be able to push the ball down the field. And when you had a unique talent like Odell Beckham Jr., you're not utilizing him. So really, that's why the Giants got rid of him, because the quarterback couldn't utilize the skill set of their star wide receiver. So and what you saw in the preseason from Daniel Jones, he was getting pressured. The ball was getting pushed down the field. And you're sitting back and everyone's sitting back and saying, whoa, now that
is a quarterback.
That's a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's a guy, if he was paired with Odell Beckham Jr., now you can utilize those skills, those skill sets right there. But unfortunately, Odell Beckham's not there. Saquon Barkley's going to get a lot of plays. And I'm fearful that because the defense is bad, Eli Manning's going to get exposed because they're going to have to play catch-up all the time.
And Daniel Jones did have a great preseason, and I hate to bring this up, but you were really hard on his draft pick at 6.
A lot of people were.
Many people were. I mean, will Giants fans, will the public, will the media, do you think you will regret being so hard on that decision?
No, I don't regret it because unless, you have to be a Hall of Famer to justify the 6th pick in the draft when no one else was going to take you in the first round. Daniel Jones was a day 2 guy. Everyone knew it. And Gettleman got bluffed into taking him with the number 6. You could have had a better draft. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.